Hi everybody, and welcome to the fellowship stage. My name is Robert Eaton. I'm from Russell Eaton Hair Salons in Barnsley and Leeds. Let my first model sit down. Today we're going to share with you a collection we've been working on across the 2 days at Pro Hair Live. Really working with curl and texture and looking at how big curls can be developed and changed, working with a brand new product innovation I've been working with from Hot Tools Professional. So I've already done some prep work here, so I've worked on creating a really tight set that we've just released the pins from, so I'm actually going to now work on brushing the hair out. But this fits in really well with what I want to talk about with regards to working with curls and working with texture. So for me, one of the most important things about creating the perfect curl is actually getting the right base to start with. So we've prepped all of our models with a heat protector and also some mousse as well to create the perfect base. And I've worked with a new product that I've been working with Hot Tools, which is the Curl Bar, which is the Curl Bar set. And basically this is an interchangeable tongue which you can clip into different sizes and create different looks with the different barrels. So this was actually created with a 19mm iron, but then also you can easily change this to the other sizes. So we've got a 25mm, a 32mm and a 38mm. So great way of creating curl. The base of the curl has now all been created, and I'm going to work by just loosening the curl up and working the curl into a shape that is really full and really big. So today I want to also bring on stage a key member of our art team, Daniel Couch, who's the current Northwestern Hairdresser of the Year. And he's going to also talk us through some of the looks that we've been working on together yesterday and today. So welcome, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm on. Brilliant. Hi everyone. You've probably all been able to hear me from just over there shouting my head off about Hot Tools. So as Rob said, we've been working on the Hot Tools stands all weekend, creating some incredible looks, and we really wanted to demonstrate the versatility of the Hot Tools product. It's something we've used mountains in the salon. We use it loads, and it's really allowed us to create all of these individual looks that some are very salon friendly, some are really session, and I think it's a valuable tool for anyone's kit bag, really.
So what I'm doing now is I'm working through these sections, and I'm really creating a very sort of session-inspired curl. So working with a wave through the root area through to something that's much lighter and floatier through the ends. For me, finishing hair and brushing out curl is so important. Very often you see curls that are almost a bit too kind of prom-like and a bit kind of crispy and not really finished in the correct way. So making sure we've really brushed these curls out is really important.
I think, as Rob's just touched on, finishing a curl and brushing a curl out is one of the really tricky parts that sometimes people get a little bit wrong. So we've kind of given you some great demonstrations here. So how we've created this look, our beautiful brunette, is working with the 19mm attachment on the curl bar. So we've worked with about 3cm size sections, working from the nape up, but not when we get to this top section, we're not taking the curl too far to the root. We want that cascading curl that's got that beautiful shape and form to it. Then moving round the sides, everything is curled away from the face. And this is designed to really open that curl out and really expose a beautiful face. And this again is really nice and kind of naturally dressed out. It's soft, beautiful. This is your bread and butter in a salon, and it's really achievable using a versatile tool like the curl bar.
So as I'm working through this shape, it's very much about me manipulating the curl to create something that's got a really great full wide shape to it. I love the idea of this being quite floaty and quite soft, but equally I like the texture that you can see in the definition with some of the curls that you can see through the front area there as well. Really with this, again, prep was the key part to it, so we really took very small sections and worked throughout the entire head of hair using the 19mm iron, and that's actually given us the strength in the curl to be able to really be very creative with what we're actually now creating shape-wise.
I think, Rob, have you got any hints and tips for the right foundation for doing this? That's something we've really touched on a lot on the Hot Tools stage.
Yeah, so I mean, foundation of curl is really important. And I mean, for me, I actually think there's a big revival in working with curl and texture more than ever before now, actually. There's been a long period where we've looked at straighter styles and smoother looks. And so it's really exciting to see curl and movement, whether it's natural curl and movement or whether it's curl and movement that's put in with a tong or an iron. So for me, this is very, very much about getting the right base into the hair first. So working with a mousse to give it a lot of texture or a gel, and then occasionally putting a little bit of mist of spray on as well. But I tend to make sure that I put spray on afterwards to finish with more than I do actually to set the hair, so it doesn't get too sticky as well. And very often when working with curls, you don't want to make it too sort of crispy and too set. You want it to be very, very soft and flexible.
I think it's been crucial, really, the right prep over the last couple of days. Rob and myself, some of our team, and a few other guest artists have been on the Hot Tool stage today and yesterday. So we've been creating a lot of different looks with curl. And one of the big things that we really want to kind of hit home sometimes is to use the right amount of product and the right type of product. Understanding the texture you're working with and the look you want to create. I think people get a little bit frightened of over-dressing a curl or really brushing it out. But getting that initial structure in, so you've got a beautiful curl in the first place, is always going to really help when it comes to this. Because you'll see Rob's brushing it out, but it's still retaining that beautiful crest and the dips and waves.
So talk us through something that looks then, Dan. I know we've got some beautiful models behind us. So this kind of brings to life, I suppose, some of the work that we're doing. Some of it's very, very commercial, but it's also pushing a little bit further with the power blow dry in the middle.
Yes, the power blow dry is very kind of Barbarella for me. It's something that we use multiple attachments of the curl bar. So we worked from the 25mm attachment, then we went up to the 32mm, and in places it's a 38. So this was really loose sections. It wasn't done very meticulously. It was quite organically created. We allowed that curl to softly be there, and then it's all blow dried back off the face. So we're using a soft brush, a little bit of a light bristle brush, and some hairspray, and we're really blowing that structure back. It's opening the curl out. It's got a real editorial vibe to it, but just by creating that height and structure, it opens up a beautiful model's face and really adds. It's a simple technique. It's really loosely curled, but it does add a massive punch to it. By having that volume, it just looks really sexy and editorial.
So the technique that Dan just mentioned there, where we actually work with air to create volume and texture to a hair shape that we've worked on. It's a really, really simple session technique that we use lots and lots. So I'm just going to use the air from the dryer to open the shape up a little bit and work on some of the flyaway hairs that are there and actually give us a shape that's got a little bit more of a session feel. This is where I'll get you in the face, Dan, with all the hairspray.
It always does this when I'm stood behind him, so I end up with a mouthful of hairspray and then I've got to speak. So our last model at the end of the stage, again, it's another really wearable salon technique. We've worked at the 19mm attachment, which is a signature attachment to the curl bar. Easy to flip between. 19mm is my favorite attachment to use. It gives you that beautiful kind of beachy wave. This is all done towards the face, and it's held on a slight diagonal angle, allowing that curl to cascade down. It's not been really heavily dressed. Every individual section was left to cool down in its natural fall, and then it was just gently raked through with a wide tooth comb. If you want to really polish together curl, you want to use a wider tooth when you brush it out. If you go in like Rob has with the bristle brush, it's going to open up the shape, it's going to open up the curl and create volume. So it's a nice contrast to see something smooth and sleek that's still got that beautiful Marcel Way vibe to something large.
Yeah, so just to recap over what we've done here. So prep and the foundation of the curl has been really, really important to create this very, very strong set and the strong shape we've worked with. So I've worked with a 19mm iron to create something that's got a very, very strong curl that I've been able to brush out. For me, working with curl, it's always important it has a slight session element to it, so it's not always just about creating something that's perfectly glossy and bouncy and wavy. So in this instance, I've created a shape that's got a lot of width to it, but also worked with the air from the dryer to open it up away from the face as well. It's a great way of actually building shape as well, and actually using the air from the dryer as an extension of your hands and using the product to manipulate and mold the shape as well. So I hope you like it. Thank you. I'll give you a seat. Have a seat. So for my next look, what we're going to try and do is just quickly transform what is a very, very classic shape into something that's got a little bit more of a session edge. So one of the key looks that I've seen coming from some of the catwalk shows across the shows in different countries is working with pins and actually exposing hairpins as well. So I've actually got some hairpins that really work well with the the outfit, so you can get them all sorts of different colours, spray them as well. But it's actually really, really great to work with hairpins and actually use them as a way of actually accessorising hair, but in a really, really sort of modern way. So I'm going to build these bands of pins that just follow the line of where the curl is.
Have you got any little helpful hints, Rob, for people who want to maybe try and do something a little bit softer and a little bit more editorial, but maybe a little nervous?
Yeah, do you know what? I think when taking inspiration from some of the session looks that you see, and we actually see these more and more now than ever with clients actually getting inspiration from images on Instagram and websites where they actually look at these different techniques. It's about making sure that you bring it to life in a way that's very, very wearable for a client so they can really relate to it really, really well. And very often with trends like this, sometimes you think, well, actually, this isn't going to work at all in salon, but sometimes a couple of seasons later, we're actually doing it on an everyday kind of basis. So this idea of actually working with grips to accessorize is something that has been around for a little while, but I think we're going to start to see it more and more. And it's actually just embracing the fact that sometimes you do need to use hairpins to create different shapes.
I think Rob's touched on something really important. Clients visually seeing something as a little bit too avant-garde sometimes is our responsibility. If you breathe that culture in your clients, that they're surrounded by images that are a little bit more editorial, or they see things happen in the salon where you're using something like a grip that people would generally hide, you're using that as an accent point, it's really your responsibility to encourage your clientele to step outside of their comfort zone a little bit. So visually immersing them in that environment, it's a really helpful way of being able to do slightly more session orientated work on everyday clients. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. So what this is doing is giving me, again, some structure to work on, and I'm actually going to use these pins to actually help me encourage them to pull out sections of hair and actually create different shapes. So the pins obviously give me the support, but we're actually creating these little curls that have a little bit more of a sort of fullness to it around the perimeter of the hair. And again, it's just adding detail to hair in a way that's really, really subtle. But again, just gives it a really, really modern edge. So just pulling and teasing these sections out, and we're nearly done. So just to recap on what we've done here, we're just taking a really, really classic shape. So working with a Hot Tools iron to create the perfect curl, and that's very much about it being a very commercial, soft look. And I've used hairpins to actually accessorize the hair, but in a really, really modern way. So working with the grips just to enhance the side sections of the hair, and actually pulling bits of hair out and teasing them into different shapes that look a little bit more modern looking. I hope you like the shape. I'll let you stand up. And again, the key here is making sure we use pins that work with the total look as well. You can get with brighter colours, whites, lots of different types of hairpins around there. But it's just a really nice, cool way of working with it in a slightly more session-inspired element. So I hope you like the looks. Thank you very much for listening and watching us. And I'll leave you with the models now. We're going to catwalk and finish off.
If you want to see any more work and have a little closer look at the curl bar, Robert and myself are going to be over at Hot Tools all day as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want me to take
this out? Yeah.